I can't believe nobody talks about these red flags when it comes to investing in Dubai real estate. Just think about it. Ever wondered why Dubai developers are promoting projects in malls? Why off-plan is pushed so hard that it makes you feel stupid if you miss on a launch? Let me tell you, the real reason why Dubai projects sell out so quickly might not necessarily be because they are as good as it seems. However, there are always good and bad investments, even in a saturated market. 2026 is shaping up to be a year of major divergence between good and bad projects. Developers are getting aggressive, marketing is getting louder, and mistakes, they are getting more expensive too. So in this video, I want to give you 5 red flags to watch out for before signing that off-plan deal. And these aren't the usual get a good location tips. These are traps most people overlook. Hit that thumbs up button, subscribe, and let's get into it. Number 1 is the branded residences. You're buying the logo, not the value. It seems like every new tower is branded nowadays. Dubai developers are slapping logos onto everything and adding a 40% price markup. Sounds glamorous, right? But most branded residences in Dubai are just marketing fluff. You're paying 3,200 plus dirhams per square foot for a name that has zero impact on your rental yield or resale exit. Moreover, branded is no longer rare. In fact, over 30,000 branded units are currently under development. So you can see the novelty has worn off. All look great on paper, but when you compare them to non-branded towers in the same area, often the difference in build quality is minimal, while the price per square foot is 30 to 50% higher. So what's the red flag? If the branding is used to justify a bloated price for a non-unique layout, finish, or community value, walk away. Number 2 is that marketing in malls is back, and I mean full scale. And that's a sign. Remember the good old days of 2022, post-COVID times when projects used to sell out quickly in minutes, no ads needed whatsoever. Now in 2025, developers are back in malls, renting out stands, cold calling from call centers, and I get it all the time, and I'm pretty sure many of you would agree with this, because even after I sold my units, I still get the calls from agents asking if they are able to rent or sell that unit whatsoever, and offering 10% ROI guarantees and some very random presents like iPhones and vouchers in malls. That tells you one thing: inventory is harder to push. The demand isn't as blind as it used to be, and the pricing isn't as justified. Here's the issue, and I've been saying this for many months and even years on this channel. Off-plan units are now selling at the same price or even higher than the ready ones in the same area, and also if we compare apples to apples. So looking at the recent handovers with the recent launches, there's not a big difference gonna be in the amenities and the looks and so on. While the price, it seems that off-plan is somehow seen as better, and that kinda explains the overpriced value, which in my opinion is absurd. You're giving away your money, you're locking that in for about 3 to 4 years, no rental income, nothing at all, and you're even overpaying for that. That doesn't really make any sense. And I know many of you might challenge me and say this is mainly for international buyers who can't really access mortgages here. Well, that's a good point, and I actually quite agree with that. Many people don't want to get mortgages, or they aren't ready to get a ready unit straight away. So for that side and segment of the market, this might work, but that's a small segment, and we're talking about all the investors, and even for those, it's not really working out as good as it used to be anymore. Developers are still riding the hype wave of 2022 and 24, but buyers are smarter now. So if the deal sounds too good and they are desperate to sell it, you know what to do. The third point is green development. Eco buzzwords with no execution. Eco-friendly, green oasis, urban forest. Sounds familiar? Be careful. In 2025, green is like the new gold. Everyone's selling you a sustainable paradise. But not every developer has the track record to build one or even maintain it. And I don't say that's a bad project. I actually really like it. And in Dubai, that's kind of rare. It's not as many communities with greenery around. But it doesn't mean that every developer should ride that hype wave and price it to the moon. It doesn't matter on the project location or whatever, as long as it's a green, sustainable option. Dubai has truly one successful sustainable city, and that is the sustainable city, which took years and years to build, and a few other really good communities with more greenery, such as Dubai Hills, Dubai Creek Harbor, the Greens. But those are mostly built by developers like MR, who have a really good track record. They know how to build those, and they're improving every single time. But now, no-name developers are throwing palm trees and vertical gardens on the renders, selling a lifestyle they might not even deliver. Here's the red flag. If a mid-scale or new developer promises you a climate-controlled lagoon, rainforest dome, or solar farm, ask them, who's funding it? How will it be maintained? Show me your last completed project. If they can't answer, walk. This point leads to the next red flag that I want to mention, and it's something that no one really talks about. This is the developer funding and escrow accounts. This is the part no one talks about because it's not sexy. Developer funding, escrow, and deliverability. In simple terms, if the developer doesn't have money, your project won't get built. Here's what you need to check. Is the project registered with RERA? Does it have a proper escrow account? And where is your deposit going? In 2018, developers like Sean had their assets seized because they used the buyer money improperly. It can happen again. And there were many other cases as well. I just named one, but there are many, plenty of them that never got built. Also ask, how many projects has this developer actually delivered, and actually how many similar projects have they delivered? On time? With quality? Moreover, you can even go to that area and investigate it by yourself. If there are any ready units, you can just go into the tower and ask the tenants, do they like it? How do they find the area? How do they find the quality of this developer specifically? If the developer's answer is vague, or they say you can trust us, that's a red flag. Similarly, if the tenants are unhappy or they want to move out, that's another hint that you could probably take it as a red flag and walk away from that. I've seen developers unable to refund, or just delaying it, or refusing buyer requests, or even simply ghosting after delays. So unless you want to be chasing your money 3 years from now, do your due diligence. Finally, I need to mention the SPA trap. I've read a lot of SPAs, which is the sales and purchase agreement, or contract F, the most important contract that you will have when you purchase your apartment or villa. And I can tell you they're almost always written to protect the developer and not the buyer. Some common traps include that you can't resell the unit unless it's 40 to 50% to even higher percentage paid. Airbnb is forbidden in the community or even in the exact specific building itself. And most interestingly, they somehow specify it in a different way so you don't really associate it with short-term rentals or Airbnb. Some developers might mention that any kind of hotel rentals are not allowed. So this definitely will put you in that trap situation where you can't actually do anything with your property in the short-term forms. There are high admin fees or NOCs when reselling, which they are not really specified. And most importantly, there is zero penalty for the developer delays, but huge ones for your payment delays. If the SPA says that you need to go through their own rental company for the next 5 years, that kills your flexibility. If the draft SPA looks rushed, uncleared, or with some simple mistakes even, and the developer isn't willing to negotiate or answer any of your questions, that's your cue to run. And yes, I offer advisory support on SPAs if you're stuck, so you can definitely reach out and I'll check it case by case in details with lawyers as well. But even if you don't use me, get a lawyer or an advisor or someone really experienced in this market, especially with Dubai off plans, to review it for you and advise accordingly before you sign anything. Here are some bonus red flags that I also want to mention that I might see happening in the next year. There is a huge lagoon hype. If every project now has a crystal lagoon, probably they're not as unique as they claim it to be. 1% monthly payment plans sounds easy, but often comes with a balloon of 40 or 50% payment required on handover. Not always as investor friendly as it's pitched. Long handover timelines, some projects show even 2029 or even 2030 already, and that's 3 to 5 years away, which means that your money is locked in without any rental income and without even you being able to resell it if there is a clause saying that you need to pay more before you're being able to resell. And finally, rental yield guarantees over 10%. First of all, no one needs to guarantee you anything. You actually need to do your due diligence and understand that this is a risk as well. But usually this means that the developer is actually overcharging you now and paying you back your own money in the case that they actually have it specified as a guarantee on the contract. Always ask, is this a long-term win or this is just short-term sugar? Dubai is still full of opportunities, but we're not in 2020 or 2021 anymore. The market has matured and you should as an investor too. You need to be sharp, you need to ask questions, and you need to compare everything. Location, pricing, payment plans, rental potential, and check every SPA clause. If something feels off, it probably is. And if you want a second opinion or want someone review the deal for you, you can always reach out. I work with investors worldwide to help you find, negotiate, even source and close the right off-plan deals and ready deals, not just the flashy ones and the ones advertised in the malls. Drop me a DM on Instagram at Gorasov or check the links in the description below to book a one-on-one session with me. Stay smart, stay skeptical, leave a thumbs up, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.